Hello, beautiful soul. I'm Chloe Rose. Welcome to Mystic Hearts and welcome to your monthly full moon oracle reading, where I also connect to spirit, bring forth some messages for the forecast of the upcoming moon cycle or monthly cycle, whatever you choose. So today is the 2nd of April. Full moon today, and I don't know about you, but the energetic drag of leading up to today for me has been super intense. Yeah, I felt really exhausted. But I'm always grateful for those moments because whenever I feel exhausted, it's always an opportunity for me to take a zoom out on my life and be like, okay, where can I create more space? Where am I packing in too much and not giving myself enough time and enough space and enough peace? Because no one wants to get burnt out, right? So I wanted to just show up and show my face because in a few moments when I start the oracle reading, it's just going to be focused in on the cards. So I wanted to say hi and hello. And I would say whether or not you choose to consciously work with the cycles of moon is irrelevant. I do really feel that you'll find some interest in these readings, because the messages just come through from the collective, right? From the collective consciousness. And I would say that I used to connect with and work with the cycles of the moon a lot more actively than I do now. I almost just use it as my own internal calendar of being like, okay, it's a full moon, and then it's 2 weeks later, okay, it's a new moon, 2 weeks have passed. How is this cycle shifting and changing? So for me, it's more of a calendar that I resonate with, rather than the Gregorian calendar, which was actually created as a tax calendar. So who wants to follow that? So for me, it's the divine feminine flow. It is following what is being presented to us by the cosmos. And it's just an opportunity to reset ourselves regularly and just have a check in and just say, how am I feeling? What have these past 2 weeks been like since that last new moon phase, since that dark phase, and what has been illuminated to me under this big full moon? So I hope you like these readings. I do these once a month. On every full moon. I am going to start doing more readings, but there's this particular deck that I'm really taking time to actually learn. So yeah, it's going to be very different to the readings that I do now. But for now, it's just every month, always on the full moon, on the day that it is the full moon here in the UK, in Oxfordshire. And you can check back in the playlist to all of the previous readings that I've done as well. And I do offer one-to-one oracle readings, which are an hour long, and these also include connecting into your guides, and receiving messages and guidance for whatever your specific intention is at this time. I also offer one-to-one quantum energy healing sessions, or containers if you like. The most popular and the one I keep getting so many bookings for recently, which is really exciting, is my one-to-one witch activation, which is very specifically a past, parallel or future timeline healing. And then I also have my new service, Live Your Fantastical Life, which is a very detailed inner child healing, but then also stepping into your most fantastical self. So it's like totally liberating your inner child and actually seeing and feeling what it would look like to experience living the dream of your inner child in your everyday reality. And then I also have kind of like a maintenance session, which is my one-to-one quantum energy expansion sessions, which I would just recommend as a follow-up. Those are only an hour long. And they are just more of specifically checking in with your energy. If you have like a very specific request, those ones can be good. Yeah, and that's that. I also have lots of free services which you can find on my YouTube channel, like my 2 weekly live streams, one on a Tuesday, one on a Wednesday. I have free meditation courses, and I do at least one long format video per week. I'm actually, I used to do more, I'm doing less now, as I feel that I put a lot more heart and soul into it when it's less. I also host regular workshops and meetups via Zoom. There's one coming up this Sunday, actually, the Mystic Hearts monthly Magickal workshop, which is donation based. So you can donate whatever you choose and join that, and I'll drop the link to that in the comments to this video. And so what I'm going to do, my guides are like, slow down, Chloe. Remember your medicine. Remember this, the medicine of the last few weeks. Just slow down. Because I've really found for me in this past week leading up to this full moon, I've been like, I just can't like get words out and articulate. And it's just like, okay, slow down and breathe. I'd love for you to share in the comments how you've been feeling these past 2 weeks in the lead up to this full moon. I'm going to share what's on my heart, what has been coming up to me in the lead up to this full moon, and how I interpret this is, if we think of like in literal terms, a full moon, it's bright. It's like a huge light bulb in the sky. It lights everything up. And what this also does is amplifies energy. So not only does it shine a light on us, it also amplifies energy internally and collectively. So that's why sometimes it can feel very frantic, or if we're very at peace, we can feel awesome under a full moon because it amplifies that. It always shifts and changes, I would say. Working with the cycles of the moon, you can guarantee that it's going to be unpredictable. So yeah, for me, leading up to this full moon has been about really being tested, actually. Really being tested on belief systems and morals. And what I find is when we're being tested, we're constantly being tested, right? This is a game. When we're being tested on something, it's not to see if we're going to fail. It's to see if we are ready to move up to that next level. So what happens when we're being tested is it can feel like things are really amplifying in our minds. So if there's like niggling fears or doubts, or issues in our life that still hold weight over us, they can tend to come up to the surface, and it can feel like, oh my gosh, something is just like stuck in my mind on loop. And the test is almost like how we navigate through that. Do we allow that amplified spotlight to consume us, or do we just say, sit back and just be like, this is a test. I know this isn't real. This doesn't serve me anymore. And it's almost like that unfuckwithable attitude. And then what's beautiful is some of these tests, when they come in, can feel really, really overwhelming, like we're being pushed to the edge of a cliff. But if we can calmly navigate our way through that, what's on the flip side is we'll literally be shown, I found through my experience, the opposite of that. So say, for example, we've got this deep-rooted fear about a particular system of control, or the matrix, or wars, or government, for example. Some things that have been coming up for me a lot in conversations recently, so I thought I'd add some voice to that. If we allow ourselves to navigate through that, what we can find is, on the other side of that, we'll start having conversations with people who completely open the perspective to remind us that there is a positive side to everything. There's a way through, there's a way around, there's a way over, under. We are literally existing in a universe of infinite possibilities and multi-dimensional realities happening all at once. And for some reason, in this human form, in this particular timeline and game that we're playing in our life, the only way out is through the mud, through the sludge, through the darkness. And it's almost like going through that. I think the word plasma came up the other day. I love that. It's like ripping ourselves through the plasma, like in the Matrix when Neo wakes up in the real world. He's like, ugh. We kind of have to go through that grimness to break free and to see, oh wow, like there is a whole multidimensionality of light on the other side of this dark tunnel. So that's really been what's been leading up to this full moon to me. And I would say the energy that I'm personally tapping into internally and collectively, casting forwards for the next 28 days for the next moon cycle, is finding balance. That's just a huge one for me, because there's been quite a frantic energy for the past few weeks. And today, now that the full moon has actually arrived, I can feel almost this wash of peace. And like, it's okay. It's okay to let go. It's okay to stop. It's okay to breathe. It's okay to make space. Because if we don't make space in our lives and if we don't stop, then we will never appreciate how much we have grown. And that is really important, because otherwise we're totally not aware of ourselves. And then all of those insecurities and niggles and infiltration from dark forces or people that just don't have our best interests in their hearts will really take over us. So slowing down and finding balance is vital. This is almost like a breathing space before we launch into action. And I would say that as humans in humanity, a very important part of choosing, a new earth. This is a word that's thrown around a lot. That does require taking action. It does require taking responsibility for our own actions and recognizing the lightness and the darkness of the entirety of our existence, and actually saying, to make change, we're going to have to actually do things that scare us a little bit and that are in unknown territory. Yeah, that was just a message that really wanted to come through. But we have this spring-like fiery energy, this fresh energy coming through now. And yeah, I'm just really being called to share with you for these first 2 weeks. Imagining that there's just this tidal wave washing over you, allowing those cleansing waves of energy. If you want to, you can even imagine it's like silver water from the moon coming down and washing over you, and just allowing yourself to breathe, make space. Don't feel like you suddenly have to burst into busyness. Time for pause. All right, let's go a little bit deeper and see what the cards have to say. So we're going to do our main reading today with the beautiful Blessings from the Heart of the Rose deck by Sheila Murphy. And I'm going to link the name to all of the oracle decks I use for the reading in the description, so you can look out for that. Okay, so today, on the 2nd of April 2026, please can we have the central energy for the next 28 days, for the next lunar month? What is the central energy for the collective, or perhaps for very specific individuals who find this reading today? One card, please. That's going to be the central energy for this 28-day reading. Thank you. Ooh, that's beautiful. So we've got return, and right in the center there is a white rose in an archway. Ooh, that's really special. Return. Thinking about what that word means and resonates with to you. Return. Beautiful. Okay. And then can we have the first row, please? So 3 cards now from the top left-hand corner over to the right. So this is pathway 1. In these full moon readings, I do multiple pathways. Some of you may find that all the pathways resonate, or just one of the pathways resonate. And it's going to be pathways that we may find that we resonate with in order to bring us into alignment with the central energy. So 3 cards, please, starting with top left and taking us over to the right. These cards are really hard to shuffle because they're so big and long. Okay, first cards, collective or personal messages here, please, coming through. Okay, Dragon's Heart. I love that, and I'm being told to... Oh, all right. We've got 2 dragon cards in a row. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. All right, then. What's really funny is it says the dragons and then return. If you're new to my channel, you might not have seen this, but I literally released a song yesterday. The first time I've ever released a song, and it's called Dragon Reborn, and one of the lines in the song says the dragons have returned. Oh, if that isn't alignment, I don't know what is. Okay, thank you with this double dragon. Please can we have the final, the third and final, this one? Okay, thank you. Spinning gold in reverse. Ooh, interesting. Ooh, I like that. The message just came through for me on that one. Okay, before I talk about this first pathway, I'm going to keep going. So please can we now have 2 cards for the pathway down from the Dragon's Heart. So we want it to be the left-hand vertical pathway. Messages, guidance or healing for the collective. We've got Magdalene in reverse. This actually showed up in last month's reading as well. Magdalene in reverse. That could be perceived as the dark feminine, which I love. Okay. And then we've got Emerald Crown. Beautiful. Again, that was one that came up in last month's collective reading. And this is nice because this means that there's still some work to do. And it could be an energy that's not only in a lunar cycle, but it could be in a longer cycle than that, another planetary cycle. Okay, so can we have the next 2 cards, please, from bottom left to bottom right? The next pathway in this journey, please. Bringing with it any messages of collective energy, guidance, perhaps healing or clearing or anything else. This one? Okay, thank you. Ooh, ooh, that's beautiful. There's quite a few angel numbers in here as well. We've got 442211. Okay, and can we have the next one, please? And that is the first time that card has come up for me in a reading, the wishing card. Last card, please. All right, there's some energy in the cards. Is it that one? Okay. Oh, no way. You are never going to guess what this card is. Dragon's Throne. So we've got Dragon's Heart, Dragon, and Dragon's Throne. Okay. All right then. Well, and you know what's so interesting? Because I was really called to have yesterday as the launch date of my song Dragon Reborn, and now it's like all of these confirmations are coming through, so that there's a strong dragon energy in this next lunar cycle or lunar month. Wow. Can we have the final card, please? Middle right. Final card on that journey. And then I'll walk you through the pathways in the order that they were pulled and presented to us today. That's not one. The final card, please, in this journey to help us to reach this destination of returning. Swan. Beautiful. Wow. Okay. All right. So let's have a talk through what we've got here. So let's go to the central energy of this reading first and foremost. I'm going to show you the card, the return card. So it is surrounded by a red border, which is very much root chakra, which is very much about our human experience. And I'm getting guidance coming through that this is going to be about us facing our fears, because fear, the vibration of fear, the emotion of fear is very much related to the root chakra. And I see this as a returning to healing. I personally see white roses as a very beautiful healing symbol. So it's returning back into the truth of who we are, returning home to a place of wholeness and healing. There's holly in there as well. So there's lots of symbolism in there. And there's this archway, which I always see as a portal. So the central energy that's coming through this returning home, returning into our multidimensional selves is going to be requiring us to face our fears and really face the truth of the reality and the times that we're living in at the moment, and asking ourselves, how is my fear adding to this reality, and what actions can I take to change this and to empower myself and those around me, so that we can all return back. Powerful. And you know me, I absolutely love facing fears. I love rebellion. I love shadow work. So yeah, to me this symbolizes a calling home. And it's really funny that this is the central card of the deck, because this is exactly what I was talking about in the intro to this video, of having to go through that uncomfortable plasma of fear and what is holding us in a low vibration, to get through to the other side and return to our true vibration of authenticity. Perfect. All right, so we've got multiple pathways here going on. This is like a spiral pathway. And these are all going to be hints and clues, and almost like stepping stones on how we can return. So let's call upon this first pathway, which I'm just like, I'm so shocked by this, and I just love it. I love it that we've got a double dragon in this row. So we've got, first of all, the dragon's heart. The dragon's heart. And in Celtic mythology, which is, I would guess, the inspiration for these cards, in Celtic mythology, the dragon's heart is meant to be the journey home, the journey into the truth of who we are. Whereas in some Eastern philosophies, the crown chakra is seen as that place of enlightenment. The dragon's heart is more of the destination in more Celtic mythology and shamanism, which I'm very connected to because I live in the UK. I'm from the UK. I'm very much connected to European, Northern and Eastern European mythologies, which is the heart is at the centre of the spiritual journey. So this is exciting. This is offering us an opportunity in this lunar month to really open our hearts and come into that place of enlightenment within. So what's interesting, I find, about this card being the first pathway is, remember what I said about when I just connected in and shared messages with you about the collective energy. I very much felt like the first week or two of this cycle are going to be about breathing space and finding stillness and taking a pause. And I feel that is what the Dragon's Heart card is calling us towards. It's like going inwards so that the energy and the vines of our heart can expand even more. So it's like this contraction in order to expand energy. And what I love about this as well is when we are in our dragon heart, when we're centered in our heart, centered in love and truth, it also, sends down this beautiful energy into the earth. So working on ourselves has this beautiful, loving effect to the earth and all beings, and it expands outwards, not only up to the cosmos and the collective consciousness, but also down into the earth and all living beings. So that's really beautiful. So it's an inner journey of awakening, enlightenment, discovering our truth in our own hearts. And then the next step after that is the dragon card. And I'm going to show you this card because it's just so beautiful. And this is an 11. It's like an 1111, an angel number. It is an acknowledgement. But the message that I'm getting coming through here is, what's really interesting, I'm just looking at it. The first thing I saw was more than one dragon. So we've got the first dragon, which is an inward journey. And then it's almost like the importance of this is unleashing our dragon. So unleashing the truth and the authenticity of who we truly are, so that we can also not only inspire others and help others to unleash their own inner dragon and inner truth, but we can also attract those who are resonant with our frequency, who are on the same soul's journey as we are. And yeah, there's just so much magic and mystery here. And what's really interesting, I find, is that the dragons have a fire and they're throwing a key into the fire. And again, I mentioned at the start that there's this fiery energy now. And okay, so the message that's coming through, channeling through for me, is that the key is courage. It is that fiery courage of throwing our fears into the flames, so that we not only empower ourselves, but we support this empowerment and courage in others. I absolutely love that. I love that. And once we're having this heart awakening, if you like, or reawakening, reconnection to the heart, and then expressing it outwardly and courageously, we then get to spinning gold in reverse. So when I look at spinning gold, I instantly get the energy of abundance, of weaving a life and reality that we choose, that feels golden, that feels joyful, that feels abundant. The message that I'm getting through for this, because it's in reverse, is that this is going to be a powerful lunar month for many, many souls to start thinking differently about how they make money. So this could be, for example, starting up your own business, looking into ways of investing, figuring out how to remove yourself from the system. This is really a card of that, flipping your perspective on its head and inviting new and courageous and out there ideas, and beginning to just really push that beyond the old and outdated, limited belief systems. Wow! So that is a powerful journey. And I can really see how this one pathway alone is going to assist us to returning home, to really being grounded and centered in ourselves and the truth of who we are. And it's that idea of like finding God within us, finding the divine within, but we have to go through that uncomfortable tunnel of breaking through fear. Amazing. So, okay, so we're going to come down the next pathway that I picked. So we've got the dragon's heart. We know what that is. It's taking a moment of pause and stillness, connecting it into our own inner truth, our own center of love. And then we come to Magdalene in reverse, and this one is number 22. And what I see of Magdalene in reverse is the dark feminine. So what I find here is, and what is coming through for me, is that when we really go into the heart, and what I mean by going into the heart is not allowing ourselves to spend too long in the mind, in the logical mind, and really come into that expansive energy of the heart, the realms of energy and the realms of magic and miracles. When we do that, we're going to also come to our dark side, and we are going to be presented with our dark side, and recognizing that actually within ourselves, and you know, everything that we discover within ourselves is also reflected in our external reality, that there is a scale that goes all the way to the depths of darkness, to the most high vibrational of light energy and resonance, and there's nothing good or evil about either of them. They create us, they create perfection, but it's about bringing that all together and really owning our darkness and no longer holding on to any shame. That's really the messages that come through for me with that. So there's a lot here about owning our shadow, facing our fears, because it's the only way that we're going to find wholeness and completeness within ourselves. Yeah, and then after we do that, we're going to come to the emerald crown. And for me, the emerald crown is like really having that lion energy, that king and queen energy, where our heart is open, we know ourselves, and so that when we really truly know ourselves and we accept ourselves with compassion and understanding, no external source can dampen that and have an effect on that. And I really feel humans need that right now. We need to build that solid, regal, sovereign foundation within ourselves. So going into the heart, expanding our hearts, facing our darkness, owning it, we're then going to be crowned with that beautiful heart-centered journey. All right, and then let's see. Now this is this is an exciting row as well. So wearing that emerald crown, when we come into that real strong, sovereign, kind, caring, compassionate, truthful and authentic state, then comes wishing. And we get another special number here, 44. 44, a very abundant number, I find, 44. It could also be a number for change as well. 44, and 4 and 4 adds up to 8. 8 is the number of infinity, infinite possibilities, infinite abundance. So there's a lot there, and I'm going to show you this card because it's just the most beautiful artwork. And look what's interesting. Again, we've got the red frame. The red frame. So there's just a lot of themes of breaking through that barrier and bound of fear and limitation to really get through to that beautiful magical embodiment of wishing. And the messages that are coming through is when we've gone on this journey and we're wearing that emerald crown, we're really heart-centered and sovereign, then we can really start wishing and literally creating magic to start making a difference in this world. So this is about those who are really ready to step up and be in their power and be in service, however small or large you see that for yourself. So that's beautiful. And then also in that line we have the dragon's throne. I mean, if the emerald crown wasn't badass enough for you, we then have the dragon's throne. Wow. And okay, so the messages that I'm getting through coming with this is, look at the border on this one. This is a green border. This is in the heart. This is giving us a sense of actually, really, truly seeing and believing a better future for humanity, and knowing that by finding that inner sovereignty within ourselves, that is the pathway to having heart-centered humans. And I don't even want to say running the world, because we need to come to this space of unity. But yeah, it's the dragon throne. It's this balance of beauty and calm and mysticism, sitting on our throne with our dragon by our side and owning that. But there's definitely something about with this card, and these are just messages that are channeling through, it's flipping the perspective. But we've got to find that inner sovereignty within to believe that there are good people in the world that are actually going to start making a difference and overthrow these systems that are not serving us anymore. Beautiful. And then the last card that we have, which connects the spinning gold and the dragon's throne. So I like these a lot, because for more heart-centered humans, flipping their perspective on how to live their lives outside of the current matrix system, and then the dragon's throne, just seeing a better future for us. In the center, we've got Swan. And it's just such a beautiful card. For me, this is a sign of peace, a sign of protection, of healing. Swans have a very beautiful spiritual resonance. They often come as a sign of good tidings on the horizon. And it's very angelic, this energy, reminding us that we are protected and we are guided on this journey. It's almost like the whole universe is here in this orb of protection. So beautiful. I feel with this card, it's more about looking at the energy and just feeling the peace of that energy. So it's like after all of these pathways, so we've got a pathway of really coming into your heart and expressing your authenticity and choosing a new life for yourself, to coming into your heart, facing your shadows, and then owning it and becoming really sovereign within yourself, and then making wishes for a better world and actually starting to envision and believe in a better future. With all of that, is going to bring us to this feeling and to this expression of peace, which is really beautiful, and it matches the white colour of the rose, returning to peace, returning to peace. Amazing. We've got another white rose there. Peace and healing. Peace and healing are words that want to come through. Okay, amazing. I've also got the Moonology Oracle by Yasmin Boland. I'm going to just pull one moon card for today. Please can we have collective message from the lunar energy today? Just one card, please, to add to this reading. Any guidance or assistance that might help those who have received this reading and this journey. Thank you. Woo. Flew out at me. Oh, I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Be bold and make the first move. Love it. Yes, that is that fiery April energy. Be bold and make the first move. Dragon's heart, dragon throne. Be bold. Remember the truth of who you are. Okay, we're going to have a message from the Ethereal Waters Oracle. This is a very mysterious deck. There is no author. So, calling upon the ethereal waters, and these are kind of words and affirmations. Please can you give us a energy forecast from today, the 2nd of April, forwards for the next 28 day lunar month. Just one card, please, so that the message is clean, clear, concise. Just one, not two. One card, please. What is for the highest and best good of the collective in this next lunar cycle? Thank you. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Okay. Still aware and reflecting. Still aware and reflecting. And what's coming through for me now is appreciate the power of stillness. Still aware and reflecting. Okay, and finally, I'm going to pull a little beautiful card from The Witch's Journey. Messages from a Witch's Journey, Witch Magic by Fiona Horn. So please can we get a Witch Magic card for the collective, please? Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so that is a confirmation of the spinning gold, the dragon's throne. The word will is redefined in modern witchcraft as willing, to be of service. We're being called to be still, aware and reflecting. How can we be of service at this time? And then be bold and make the first move. Well, thank you so much for joining me for this oracle reading today. Let me know if you enjoyed it and what your biggest takeaways are in the comments. I always love to receive them. Sending love.